Yes, watu wa nguvu, karibuni tena kwa mara nyingine. Nasema thanks so much. Thanks for your great support. Kuendelea kusupport hii channel. Nyinyi ni watu wa nguvu na naendelea kurecognize support yenu. Nilikwambia kwamba hii channel lazima at the end or at the beginning of the day, at the middle and at the end of the day lazima tuwe tunakuletea ni nini kimechemuka hapa nchini Kenya. Mambo yanaenda vipi? Wapi iko sawa? Wapi mambo yameharibika kabisa? So lazima hiyo ni jukumu ya hii channel kukuletea. So na kuaji to always ukue tuned ili wakati ambapo tunakuangushia mambo unatizama na unaona nini kimetokea hapa nchini Kenya. Kwa hivyo guys, bila kupoteza time, tuko na mambo mengi we want just to cover here. Acha tuanze kwanza na hii clip ya Sylvanus Osoro wakati ambapo anajaribu commanding Kenyans ili wa sing 2 terms president, huku wa Kenya wakiamua kusing a 1 term president. Sikiza.
Kwenye hii kanisa nani wanataka tulete Rais William Ruto awasalimia hapa? Siku hizi rais akaribishwi hivyo. Siku hizi rais anakaribishwa namna hii. Unapotaka akuje, unainua mkono namna hii. Hebu inue mkono namna hii vile nimeinua hivi. Hebu inue mkono namna hii. Umeona? Hiyo inaitwa 2 term. Hiyo wakati tutamkaribisha hapa tuseme 2 term. Sema 2 term. Sema William Ruto. Asante sana. Ya mwisho kabisa. Ya mwisho kabisa.
Naona watu wangu. So wakati ambapo Sylvanus Osoro ana command kwamba mseme 2 terms, then residents wanasema 1 term inside the church, kumaanisha William Ruto amesha lose kila support ya Mkenya hapa nchini Kenya. Number 2, you know guys, William Ruto ameanza kutumia tena zile tactics za kumake sure tena Rigathi Gachagua anakuwa scared. But now I can tell you for free, now Rigathi Gachagua amekuwa akituambia yeye hawezi tena ogopa. Yeye atasimama na atasimama na Wakenya. Uwezi amini kwamba yesterday siku ya kanisa William Ruto alituma wanapolisi wa block barabara zote ili Rigathi Gachagua siingie church, ili waumini wasiingie church kumsikiza Rigathi Gachagua. You can just imagine. Na kanisa ndo tunaamini ya kwamba tunaweza omba na shida za Kenya ziishe. Sikiza.
Asubuhi tuliweza kureceive senator wetu wa Kiambu ambaye alikuwa ametumwa na mheshimiwa wetu Rigathi Gachagua. Tukamchukua Nakuru, tukaenda kwa kanisa ya PCA Kabazi, lakini kufika huko tukakuta watu wamewekwa baridi kuanzia Wednesday. Na watu wakapigania simu kaambia msiende kwa hiyo kanisa, ya kwamba kutakuwa na tear gas, hamtaweza kusoma huko. Watu wamewekwa baridi. So tukauliza ni nini watu, tukakuta wako na baridi kwa kanisa. Ndio tukaambiwa watu wamewekwa hofu. Kuna watu walikuwa wametumwa jana kutoka ofisi ya kaunti ya Nakuru waende jana kusema watu wasiende hiyo kanisa, kutakuwa na vita. Kusikia tu watu hivyo. Lakini sisi tukaingia kwa kanisa kwa sababu sisi hatuwezi, mambo ya kanisa na mambo ya Mungu lazima iendelee. Injili lazima iendelee. In good times or bad seasons. Kuifika pale, kufika hivi Land Cruiser ya polisi ilikuwa hapo nje. Tumesoma tu maofisa wa polisi wakiwa nje ya Kabazi, PCA Church. Sisi tukamaliza vizuri, lakini kutoka pale kwa center tukakuta roli mzima ya polisi. Nimeona gari ya DCC pale. So lakini issue ni kwamba hofu ilikuwa imekaa hapo kila mahali. Tukapata information ya kwamba polisi waliweka roadblock kuanzia jana asubuhi, njia ya kutoka Nyahururu kuingia Subukia pale juu, na pia wakaweka ingine roadblock hii njia ya kutoka Kabazi kwenda Merangini. Kumbe walikuwa ya kwamba wazuie mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua asipitie, kwa sababu yeye ndiye alikuwa kuja kwa hiyo kanisa PCA. So ilikuwa ati waweke roadblock kuanzia jana hadi asipite. Sisi tulibadilisha mipango na nashindwa intelligence ilikuwa wapi juu. Sasa tulibadilisha tukasema hata kuja na atatuma mheshimiwa Karungo Thangwa. Lakini bado mpaka saa hii saa 10 wakubwa yote ya polisi kutoka Subukia police station, wengine mpaka deputy OCBD saa hizi hata ako hapo saa hii. Tumevuka hapo, wakatuweka baridi hako, wakapiga masimu. So lazima sisi kama kikundi hiki tuko hapa, viongozi wa Nakuru tuona hapa ni Nyahururu tayari, na viongozi wetu wa biashara tukahakikisha lazima tulete senator mpaka tumvukishe Nakuru, tumlete hapa. Ndio maana tuko hapa leo. Na sisi tunasema hivi, siku ile mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua atakuja Nakuru, ataingia Nakuru na atakaa siku 3. atazunguka Subukia, Bahati, aende Moro, Joro, Kulesoi, Longai, Naivasha, Gilgil na Nakuru mjini pale Kanu House. Kwa hivyo siku ikifika, siku ile ikiwadia, hii road block yote do not mean anything. Na mimi ningependa kuambia wale watu ambao wameweka mapolisi, sure is very wrong. Kuanzia jana asubuhi mnaweka polisi kwa road block. Kwani hakuna kazi nyingine ya kufanya? I don't think that is fair even to the policemen. Watu senior NIS, wakubwa wa NIS, wakubwa ya DCI, wakubwa ya polisi, vitengo zote ziko pale kwa road block. Ingine merangine. Kuzuia mheshimiwa asiende. Secondly, wakaambiwa wakati wameambiwa ni senator anakuja, waka-intimidate watu the whole of last night wasiingie kwa kanisa. Tumeenda, tumesoma ujumbe ya Rigathi Gachagua imefika kwa kanisa. Mapolisi tumewacha wengi Kabazi, sasa tumewacha wengi Subukia. Mungu ametusaidia, tumewakuta wamesimama hapo. Si tukaambia si hatuwezi simama, si tuko nchi huru na tukafika hapa. Yangu ni kusema hivi, tuheshimiane. Hii Kenya ni ya Mungu na mheshimiwa ataenda kila mahali wakati yake ikifika.
Unaona watu wangu, so huyo ni William Samoei Arap Ruto, the president of the Republic of Kenya, ndo anafanya mambo kama haya. And don't forget, hizo wakati ambazo Rigathi Gachagua alikuwa anablokiwa, huyu Gladys Wanga pia alikuwa ameattend church service. But today ameamua kuspeak out, confronting. Yesterday hakuwa amezungumzia kuhusu Rigathi Gachagua, but today ameamua kuzungumzia Rigathi Gachagua because alikuwa na imani ya kwamba Rigathi Gachagua on Sunday atakuwa arrested, moments tu ambazo atakuwa anaingia church, but kwa mapenzi ya Mwenyezi Mungu Rigathi Gachagua hakuweza kuwa arrested. Na nilikwambia guys, intention ya William Ruto wakati ambapo Rigathi Gachagua atakuwa arrested, atapuliziwa ile dawa kadinza ambavyo Wafula Chebukati alifanywa, na hiyo yote ilikuwa deal ya William Ruto ili Wafula Chebukati asijaribu kutambua siri, ili asijaribu kusema nini, tulifanya hii na hii. Unaona watu wangu, so now Gladys Wanga aliamua kuspeak confronting Rigathi Gachagua kwamba Rigathi Gachagua anafaa awe ameshashikwa sasa hivi. Sikiza.
And what we did, we went by the constitution and took these matters to court. There is no time that people who are claiming to be demonstrating under the constitution can turn into anarchists under your instruction and burn down police stations and burn down courts in this country and beat up policemen and women. It has never happened. And Gachagua, this is shame on you. You will never get power through the back door. Elections will be done in this country in 2027. And if you're ready, come to the election in 2027. Lakini maneno ya kuweka watoto wetu from wherever they are to turn against each other, a son robbing the business of their mother, breaking into businesses of their parents. Shame on you, Gachagua. Shame on you, Gachagua. And this is no longer about demonstrations. And our Gen Zs have made their case in this country. But this thing is being hijacked by anarchists sent by one Rigathi Gachagua. Anawatuma watu waende kutembea kuvunja maduka ya watu, to rape women. Why would that happen? To beat up police women, weak police women. You chase them and beat them with stones. We have done demonstrations in this country. We have never reached a point of beating up our police. And when we get to a point of beating up our police and burning our police stations, we are taking this country the route of anarchy, and those are no longer constitutional demonstrations. Those are a plot to overthrow government.
So mambo yameharibika. These people are continuing blaming Rigathi Gachagua, kila kitu Rigathi Gachagua. But ukweli wa mambo ni kwamba saizi hata Rigathi Gachagua yuko behind protest ambayo imekuwa ikishuhudiwa hapa nchini Kenya, ambayo pia iliweza kutigiza tena William Ruto. So guys, kitu ambacho Wakenya wanahitaji saizi ni ku make sure wanapeleka William Ruto nyumbani, ama wana make changes. Lazima tuongozwe kwanza na rais mwingine, tuone hii mambo yako oje. Unaona watu wangu, William Ruto ndo ameshindwa kazi ama kuna kitu fulani kana kuanga kizuizi ya kuongoza Wakenya vizuri jinsi ambavyo unawapromise na hauendi. Unaona watu wangu, so tukiachana na hayo guys, but ensure pia umelike video ili kuonyesha kwamba una support hii channel na nyinyi ni watu wa nguvu. Asanteni tena zaidi. Kwa hivyo today tulikuwa na former spokesperson wa police officers Charles Owino amekuwa pia akizungumzia hii mambo ya shoot and kill ya Murkomen. So pia pale kulikuwa na clash. Unaona watu wangu, sikiza.
Let me begin with you, Charles, here, because this has really caused a lot of heat. And the Cabinet Secretary is defending himself that he was simply citing the law. And you hear some of his voices. What have you made of this?
You know, police have a role to play. In the last incident, we have seen 9 police stations destroyed or burnt, and we have seen 5 firearms stolen from the police stations. I think I'm with the former chairman of LSK and Harvey here. On my background as a policeman, I look biased when I speak, but I think Harvey should be able to tell these Kenyans the provisions in law, because at the end of the day, if the police cannot use their firearms and the public get to know they cannot use those firearms against them, then definitely what you are going to see is total anarchy. The population of police is just 120,000 vis-a-vis a population of 50 million. So we must be able to tell the truth, the circumstances when the firearms may be used. And they are clear and they are there in the papers.
But does that require the Cabinet Secretary to say what he said?
You see, he has said that out of annoyance, out of what people have done, out of restraint that the police had. You saw policeman beaten carrying his firearm to the ground, and he still restrained himself. He did not shoot at anyone. So even if you look at some of the cases, we have lost 17 people, which is very sad. And most of these cases, when you look at them, you find, apart from a case of, we have 2 very sad cases.
Yep.
There's a 17-year-old boy which we lost in Molo from Jenga Karume Secondary School. There's a security guard that we lost from Kenya Power out of what is called a stray bullet. And then there are now many other people, some shot, like in Odaya, I saw 2 shot invading Emmanuel supermarket.
Yeah.
In Kikuyu, in Makongeni, I can see somebody shot attacking police station. In Juja, the same. And no, these are incidences that we could avoid. For example, if we were just to have peaceful demonstrations, we cannot have such incidences. But what we have is total anarchy. And this cannot be allowed. So I don't think the minister is totally out of context to say that police officers should use their firearms where the law calls for them to use it.
All right.
Unless we want to not to face reality and say that we have those firearms. In fact, if there's no need of officers to use firearms, let's agree with legislators that the police officers should not be given firearms at all.
Well, that takes us back to the use of reasonable force. And every policeman and the policewoman understands the moment you misuse your firearm, you are on your own. You will be charged with murder or manslaughter, and it will be upon yourself to demonstrate that you used reasonable force in the circumstances. And often you will be found guilty, because if you are shooting at Boniface Kariuki, who only has a mask, how can you justify the use of brute force on him? You understand? Look at all the cases that were reported last week. I never saw a single incidence of a policeman confronting anybody looting a shop. But I saw so many incidences of policemen shooting innocent protesters. What is the name of this gentleman? Calligraph Jones. What was the underlying reason why they had to whip him? He was just walking innocently, and you could see these policemen were intent on provoking him so that a scuffle would ensue and shoot him. But with that said and done, police officers must realize that an unlawful command from anybody, the president, the cabinet secretary, the PS, the police spokesman, cannot be obeyed.
You will not find me anywhere where I said somebody should be shot to be killed. You will not find me anywhere where I said that a police officer should take orders from myself. No. I restated the law and reminded them what the law says. Your Excellency, I'm not the one who wrote the law. All the police officers understand how to use a firearm, don't you? Yeah, it's clearly provided for in the National Police Service Act. of 2011. It is spelled out in the law that when you use a firearm against another person, either your life is in danger.
Senator, is this a minister who regrets what he said but not sure how to say it?
I think I want to say that one thing that baffles my mind is what happens to people when they get to power, when they get power and money. And I say that because over the years, Murkomen has been able to prove that he's a very reasonable person, somebody who understands the law, and somebody who do not allow other people to think for him. But the Murkomen of today, after getting power, and of course money, and proximity to the president, seems to have, abdicated his role, seems to have forgotten what he stands for, seems to have forgotten everything. Because it's also embarrassing for somebody to say something today, and I'm referring to flip-flopping. Murkomen said in public, and it was all over for everybody to see, he ordered the police to shoot and kill anybody who approached a police station.
He didn't say kill.
And
let's be fair to him, he didn't say kill, he said shoot.
Shoot, yes. Of course, the police have not been shooting to immobilize recently. They have been shooting to kill. And he also referred to another power above him and said, these are not my instructions. These are instructions from above. And the above can only be one particular person, that is President Ruto. Because, we are here discussing this matter this morning, Sam, because of the recent shootings by the police. And when Wakili Harvey tells you about Boniface Karaoke, who comes from my county, everybody saw what happened. This is somebody the police harassed. And he had actually even left. Then the police officer, I don't know what came to him. They shot him. We have not seen any police officer confronting a dangerous person, a looter, but very innocent Kenyans who are not armed. Again, Sam, although you have not asked me about that, we must ask ourselves, especially relating to what happened last Wednesday. We are told that police stations were torched, that people stole guns, but we were not told of any response by the police officers who were there. We saw the DCC's offices in the Kikuyu here, getting torched. There was no response by police officers. So, and I think maybe if you get time, and if you may want to ask Charles, because he is a former police officer and a police spokesman, whether he thinks that actually whether that was just an act of crime or it was something pre-planned. You cannot attack a police station today, Sam.
You think it was pre-planned?
Of course.
By who?
By government. Who else? Because it seems...
Government planned to attack police station?
No, government planned goons to attack a police station and ordered. Of course, I'm not saying I have evidence, but of course you had one-to-one. How would, people who are unarmed attack a police station? There is no response from the police officers in that particular station. There is no response at all. Unless orders have been given to the police officers who man such a particular station not to respond and to go away. You cannot do that in a police station.
That is actually possible, Senator, you believe?
It is?
You believe it's actually possible for the government to organize goons?
Yes. Not exactly organized goons. Politicians can organize goons, but government can give orders to the police in such a particular police station not to respond to the attacks. And Sam, if you go out here, there are politicians ordering security organs, telling them, OCPD, do this, and they do it. And we see these things.
Which politicians?
Those that are aligned to government.
Those
that support government. Yes, I've seen them in my county, giving orders, calling for security meetings. politicians. And they appear. These are things that are there.
You know, Sam.
I mean, they are not done officially, but they are there. You'll go to a gathering, and there is a pro-government politician, and when especially they do not want anybody who is anti-government to speak, then you will hear them telling OCPD, nyanganya mic, OCPD, that should not be said. Nobody should mention the president here.
And they do it.
And they do it, yes.